What you're seeing now is not a complete episode of Dragon Ball Shinken, just a small update to the story so fans don't have to wait too long. Stay tuned for this preview now, and soon you'll see the complete episode made with all of our dedication. In the vacuum of Universe 8 space, Goku sweats profusely. He's exhausted as he needed to spend a considerable amount of energy to heal from the chest wound he got in the fight against Belmont. And before that, he had already spent a lot of energy fighting the gods. At least the result was positive, and now only one god is left in front of him, which is Rumi, the god of destruction of Universe 10. Even though he's very tired, Goku forces a smile while saying to his opponent the following: "Look, I have to admit, I didn't expect that she would be my final opponent in this fight." Rumi doesn't respond at all, just stares at him with an angry look. But the Elephant God's anger isn't necessarily directed at Goku, but rather because of the evil energy that consumes him. The owner of the evil energy that possesses Rumi observes the entire fight through his own energy. He watches everything from Universe 7 in his castle, located on planet Cumber, sitting on his throne. Cumber gives his own analysis of the fight. Son Goku has fought very well so far. However, he's clearly already very tired. His movements will no longer be as precise, nor will his blows be as strong. Will he be able to win? Well, this will be fun to watch. Then Cumber directs his attention to what happens elsewhere in the multiverse in Universe 10. In the vacuum of Universe 10 space, Vegeta faces Beerus and Champa, who have just transformed, greatly increasing their powers compared to before. Vegeta looks at them with a tense and focused look while thinking the following: "So far, I've received many attacks, and used very powerful attacks. My energy is far from what it is at maximum. On the other hand, one of my opponents is Beerus, so I can't afford to spare power. It's bad enough that I can't use my Shinken transformation. Saving more power than that could be the death of me." Cumber also analyzes Vegeta's situation. "For some reason, until now, Vegeta has refused to use that power that he used against my clone. He's probably very afraid of spending too much power, or that I will be able to learn that skill somehow. The result of this was that he had much more trouble than he could have had, and now his body is very worn out. To make matters worse, one of his opponents is Beerus. How's he going to deal with this?" In the palace of the Supreme God, Zeno watches with great tension alongside Shinken and his guards. The Grand Minister warns, "Great Zeno, pay close attention from now on. I think that it's not long. We're going to see the outcome of this great battle." Despite the difficult situation, Goku smiles at his opponent and says while taking his combat stance, "Let's go. Let's get this over with, because I have a bet to win." Rumi goes on the attack. The god of Universe 10 advances against Goku with a punch full of power, but Goku dodges it to the side while landing a kick to the Hakaishin's back of the head. However, his head barely moves. Rumi soon counterattacks with another punch, which Goku also dodges, this time from below, while landing a punch straight into the opponent's abdomen, who again barely moves. Rumi's next attack is a kick which Goku dodges by going above and retaliates with a top-down kick right at the top of the Hakaishin's head, but also without effect. Rumi retaliates with a kick from below, but Goku disappears at high speed and reappears behind with a kick to the back, which also has no effect. The Elephant God turns around with an armful, which Goku dodges by retreating, while he responds with a wave of energy that hits Rumi squarely in the torso. This time he's moved a little away, but a few meters later, he manages to stop, resisting incredibly well. "Damn, this guy is tough," Goku thinks while grinding his teeth. After resisting the last attack, Rumi charges forward again. Even in the face of the most powerful forms of his two opponents, Vegeta smiles as he takes up his combat stance and says, "Let's get this over with. Bring it on." But even though he calls his opponents to fight, he is the one who makes the first move. Vegeta disappears and reappears at high speed right in front of Champa, preparing a powerful punch. "I'll start with the weakest," he screams, but his punch is simply held, leaving Vegeta completely surprised. After holding back the punch, Champa retaliates with a hook with his other hand right in Vegeta's stomach, causing the Saiyan God a lot of pain, and then throws him into the air with a kick to the chin to fire a barrage of energy balls that hit Vegeta and cause multiple explosions in the vacuum. Beerus then attacks, firing a beam of energy that hits Vegeta in the middle of the smoke and carries him out, launching the Hakaishin Saiyan away. Rumi chases Goku through space, throwing a series of punches at him. Goku retreats while dodging and looking for an opening. Finally seeing a chance, he counterattacks with an upward kick to Rumi's chin, who has his head thrown back, giving the impression that he was stunned. Goku takes the opportunity to attack with a punch, but he has to stop and dodge when the Elephant God simply spits a wave of power from his mouth, which Goku avoids narrowly. "Man, that was dangerous," he thinks as he walks away. Goku retaliates with a sequence of energy spears, but Rumshi simply advances in a straight line while receiving all the explosions like a true war machine. The power with which Rumshi launched himself towards Goku is incredible, and even though his locomotion is delayed by the energy spheres, he arrives at high speed to attack with a punch, making Goku need to escape with an instant transmission. After reappearing, Goku releases a wave of energy from his hands, but Rumshi again advances in a straight line, receiving the attack head-on while closing the distance at extraordinary speed until he arrives with another punch at Goku, who again avoids with a teleportation. Goku attacks again, this time with a globe of super concentrated energy, but Rumshi advances, piercing his energy globe with his own body, letting Goku's attack explode behind him as he continues to approach. Once again, Goku dodges his punch with a teleport, but this time, Rumshi seems to sense where he is going to appear and fires a discharge of energy towards Goku, which when it appears already has to dodge the shot in the last second, but distracted by this attack, Goku is unable to avoid Rumshi, who advances towards him with incredible power and arrives, grabbing and carrying him through space at incredible speed. The speed with which Rumshi carries Goku is such that he seems to cross an entire constellation in a second. Along the way, they hit a star, completely destroying it in a large-scale explosion. But even after that, they continue until they finally stop when they collide with a large planet, where Rumshi buries Goku in the ground with his extraordinary strength, and then prepares a punch to sink Goku's face into the ground. But the Saiyan is smart, and using teleportation, he escapes. Rumshi's punch hits the planet and then completely explodes it. Watching all this, Zeno is completely impressed, and he asks how Rumshi can have so much speed and destructive power. Shinken says that the basis of Rumshi's power is in one thing: his strength. He explains that the speed with which Rumshi is projecting his body towards Goku is thanks to the power generated by his monstrous strength, and this strength can of course also be seen in his extremely strong punches. The Grand Master says that in terms of physical strength, Rumshi has always been the reference among the gods of destruction, and he was even capable of carrying an entire solar system with just the strength of his body. Of course, Zeno is impressed by this and concludes that Goku is in trouble facing this guy. Shinken agrees and says that in the current state of his body, Goku would not be able to resist many of Rumshi's attacks, so he only has a chance in this fight by managing to avoid his attacks and making good attacks capable of hurting Rumshi. But the problem is that Goku is very tired and his attack power is also decreased, while Rumshi, in addition to being very strong, is also very resistant. In other words, Goku will have a lot of problems winning this fight. Vegeta is in an exchange of attacks with Beerus and Champa. He is being put under a lot of pressure by both of them, since in addition to both being very powerful, they are also fighting with a synchronicity that Vegeta didn't expect. There is a moment when Beerus and Champa attack at the same time, but Vegeta escapes by disappearing in front of them and reappearing at a certain distance to launch a globe of energy of destruction against them. But after the explosion of the attack, Vegeta realizes that Champa protected the two with an energy shield, while Beerus prepared an attack concentrating a very large amount of destruction power in his hands. As soon as Champa undoes the shield, Beerus releases a massive wave of purple energy, and that power goes towards Vegeta with such speed that he barely manages to dodge it, moving to the side. But Champa surprises by simply appearing behind him and kicking Vegeta in the direction of the energy wave. Vegeta ends up entering the wave of power and carried by it. After this attack, he is clearly much more injured, but he has to fight again with Beerus and Champa attacking him. Champa arrives with a kick that Vegeta defends, but the force of the attack is enough to undo Vegeta's defense. Then Champa retreats with a somersault, while Beerus comes with a well-aimed punch in the middle of Vegeta's chest. And after Beerus hits Vegeta, Champa finishes his somersault by launching a sphere of power at the Saiyan, while Beerus moves out of the way to let him receive the attack. Vegeta, despite being in pain from Beerus's punch, holds back Champa's energy attack and tries hard not to be carried by him. But Beerus then comes from behind and launches a similar attack, which hits Vegeta's back and explodes at the same time as Champa's attack, generating a gigantic explosion. Zeno comments to Shinken that he didn't expect to see Beerus and Champa acting as a team like that, since the two are always arguing all the time. Shinken says that it is partly happening because the two are being dominated by Cumber's energy, but also says that in the past these two were not as disunited as they are today. In fact, they formed an incredible duo and were the most powerful warriors in Universe 7. He says that Beerus and Champa were such incredible warriors that they were both tipped to become gods of destruction, but the problem was that only one of them could be the god of Universe 7, and this caused a conflict between them. There was a very fierce battle which lasted 2 days and 2 nights, and at the end of the battle, by a very small advantage, Beerus ended up winning. Because of his defeat, Champa was given Universe 6 to rule, but the truth is that he was never satisfied with having to rule another universe, and this caused him and Beerus to resent each other this entire time. But before all this rivalry, they were very close brothers, and together they fought like no one else, and it seems that the state of little consciousness that they are in now ended up awakening this rapport between them, and that is certainly very bad for Vegeta.